What's up, everybody? Anthony here, specialtymotorcars.net. I got another nice treat to bring you this week, folks. You may remember seeing the video maybe a month or so ago when I acquired this 2002 Cadillac from the second owner's estate. It had been asleep for a long time, since 2009. And when we got the fuel pump taken out of it, that's what my video was all about, to get this car running. I said I was going to put some miles on this car. Well, I ended up accidentally putting like 780 miles or something on this car, which is no easy undertaking for me. I have so many cars to choose from, it's hard to actually commit to one car. But I actually enjoyed every mile I've put on this car. And I'm actually kind of upset to be making this video right now to sell this car, because it's just been such a great car. It's a 2002 Seville SLS package with now 20,000 miles. I'm going to show you around the car, show you inside, outside, throw the price in at the end of the video here. People ask me, oh, you never put the price in? It's always at the end of my video. 2002 Cadillac Seville. Let's take a look. Here she is, a beautiful Ming, M-I-N-G, blue, Ming blue, 2002 Cadillac Seville SLS. SLS was the more luxury package over the STS. It has some different features, but essentially they really do look the same. I sometimes have a hard time differentiating between the two, but this is an SLS package similar to the 2000 model year that I sold just 2 months ago, that silver one with that had 29,000 miles, I think. This is a beautiful Ming blue 20,000 mile car. Now, to refresh anybody who didn't see the first video I made of this car when I had acquired it, this car came out of a local estate. The car had been off the road since 2009. Tires were flat spotted. It did not run. I brought the car back to my shop. We took the fuel pump out, drained the gas tank, cleaned the gas tank, new fuel pump module put in the car. The car started right up. Flushed the coolant out of it. Put new coolant in it, did a Prestone engine coolant cleaner additive, which I believe in. I think it works very well. And in this particular case, I know it worked very well because I reflushed the coolant again after I did that. I put 737 miles on this car, which my goal was to put about 500 miles on, but it ended up being such an enjoyable car to drive, I just couldn't stop driving it. And I'm actually, like I said earlier, I'm actually kind of a little bummed out that I am selling this car, because it's just been a great car to just drive around. I really actually enjoy the car because it's such a low mileage car, but it's a nice driver. Now, this car is not a trailer queen. I'm going to point out some flaws and defects with this car. Like I said, this car is going to be priced to sell. Beautiful 20,000 mile car underneath. I got a video later in this clip here of the car on the lift. I fully serviced the car, like I said, flushed the coolant out, did the fuel pump, tires, rear air shocks. We did a thermostat tensioner, belts, all that stuff. The car is ready to go. And like I said, I've put 730 miles on the car because I wanted to make sure that the car was going to be sound for the next person who bought it. And it's really been a pleasure. I really, unfortunately, don't know the story about this car, what had happened to this car, or what its life was like. The first owner had it, I think, up until like 07. Second owner bought it from a dealership. That dealership sold it to him with like 11,000 miles on it, and he brought it up to 19,000 miles in just 1 year, but unfortunately passed away. What happened to this car in that time, I don't know. When I say that, I'm going to point out a few things. This car, I don't believe, was in a collision, but it has definitely had a lot of paint work on it. And by paint work, I mean both sides of the car have been painted, hood's been painted, bumpers have been painted, the roof has not been painted. And it shows it not really to the untrained eye, but I'm going to point everything out to you and show you this car. I like being transparent. So this car at 20,000 miles, fully serviced, got a beautiful leather interior, is more geared towards someone who's going to drive it and maybe had one that just wants to drive another one, wants a low mileage example. That's this car. You're not buying a trailer queen. This is not like the silver one that I sold, where that car was an absolute gorgeous, perfect, no questions, no excuse car. I'm being brutally honest with this car. So let's go around, and I'm going to point this car out to you as we go around. You can see the biggest thing that kind of caught my eye when I acquired this car, and it's kind of hard to see, but you can see those little dots in the paint there. There's one there. There's one there. Those, I believe, are what they call fish eyes in the auto body shop terminology world. And they're pretty much down both sides of the car. Very subtle, they don't stick out to you. Like the paint's very shiny on the car. They actually did a pretty decent job painting it. You know, taping up all this stuff. I don't know if they taped it. It looks like maybe they removed it all, because I don't see any tape lines here. Even up, well, they didn't paint the roof, but you know, you don't see any really overspray anywhere. But there's no question that the car has had paint work. But I don't see any signs of collision repair, like new body panels, bad door gaps, or anything like that. So I believe this was cosmetic, maybe vandalism. Maybe it was in a storm and a tree branch, you know, fell down near it, around it. I really don't know. Unfortunately, the person I bought the car from was dead. And I almost want to say that this was done before he even bought the car, because he had it for such a short time. Well, he had it for a long time, but he used it for such a short time. But, you know, it is what it is. The car shows very well. It looks nice. But it does have its flaws. You can see, again, throughout the paint here, just random little spots. But again, it looks nice. Got a little bit of a door chip there. A couple little minor chips there on the paint. Did have a scratch on the bottom of the door here that this spot had been touched up, it looks like. Another one there that was touched up. Put new rubber on the car. The brakes on it are super chunky. I did not do brake work. The front and rear pads and rotors are in really nice shape. I thought I was going to have to, because the car sat for a while, but it didn't end up needing it after 700 miles. The brakes cleaned up very nicely. One other thing that this car kind of suffers from, and you can kind of see it in a few spots, seems like there's a few little dings and hail dents. Maybe that's what caused this car to be painted. I don't know. I would have thought they would have got some of the dings out. You know, I'm doing this in the shade here. You can kind of see it. You kind of can't. It's obviously impossible for me to point out every little ding, but I want to point out that, you know, that they are there. Seems to be just on the deck lid, and then a few in random spots, like you can see right there. There's a little cluster of them on the roof. All the glass is in nice shape. You know, the door gaskets and weather stripping is in nice shape. Even inside, like, whoever painted this car definitely took the time to take this kind of stuff off, because there's nothing that's painted over. It wasn't a cheap Mako paint job. I just think maybe the prep work wasn't the best, because they got a few little fish eyes here and there. Come around the back bumper, it has the rear parking sensors. All the taillights are in nice shape. Obviously, they put new emblems on it, because they definitely did not tape up around those. It has the LED third brake light. A couple little various marks, you know, on the rear bumper here. Come around this. This is probably the worst part of the car here. And this, unfortunately, was done when they towed this car out of the owner's garage and brought it to a local shop for the family to try to get the car running. They damaged the quarter here. You can see something rubbed it and kind of dented it and kind of scraped it along there and then along the edge of the bumper. Normally I would have that refinished, but given the rest of the car, I said, you know what, I'd rather just make the car 100% serviced. Beautiful interior, the car runs, everything works, air conditioning works, no lights or anything like that. Because it had other cosmetic challenges, I wasn't going to do this. So, you know, that's just something I'm going to leave up to the next guy. Not normally something I do, but you can only go so far. And where would I go, you know, fixing something like that? But you know, just a couple various chips. I mean, you can see me. The paint actually shines really nice on this car. Very straight down both sides. It's not wavy or you know, dinged up. See a few little chips on the door, molding here. You know, but you come to spots like this and you can see right there where, you know, maybe they did a poor tape job there. A few more of the dings in the roof. Again, they're very random. I have a paintless dent repair service. Again, where do you go with that? So it's a sharp looking car. Runs down the road beautifully. I know I've put 730 miles on it. Has a few dents up on the top here on the fender. You know, paint's glossy on the hood, but again, if you get up on top of it, you can kind of pick out, like there's one right there. I know I'm being super picky, but you know what? The car is what it is. Some people probably don't care if they're going to drive it. Others would. Some scuffs on the front bumper, and you can see the bumper was painted, and obviously they bumped into something here because you get some spider webbing and chipping in the paint there. Fog lights. Headlights are in pretty decent shape. It does have a series of chips kind of like on the front corner of this bumper here. A little bit of haze on this headlight, and then there's some gouges right there down on the bottom here. Not cracked, just scuffed up and scraped up. All beautiful chrome wheels. The wheels on this car are in really nice shape. I am missing one of these little beauty caps. I had a friend of mine give me one just like 3 days ago, and I misplaced it already. I should be able to find it, but it is missing one of those. Dash pad's in really nice shape. The pad's not all warped or beat up. I know I'm being maybe overly harsh on this car, but again, I try to tell it like it is. I'm standing in front of this car, you're not. I don't want this car to, you know, appeal to someone who is expecting perfect at 20,000 miles. That's the tough thing. If this car had 80,000 miles, it'd be more acceptable, easily to, you know, not overlook, but I guess accept. At 20,000 miles, you don't expect this. So again, I didn't expect it when I bought it, but I had already committed to the family on the car, and I wasn't going to back out of it. So here it is, 20,000 mile, 2002 Seville. Let's take a look inside. We'll pop the hood, pop the trunk, we'll drive back to the shop, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like underneath. All right, let's take a look inside the Seville here. You can see, you open it up, it's a beautiful shale leather interior, kind of a common color interior for this era Cadillac, really. It's like a light beige tan color. All inside the jams are in really nice shape. There's really, you know, nothing to speak of for like overspray or signs that it really was in a body shop. Like, you know, even all these gaskets are in really nice shape. Obviously they took it off. A little bit of wax buildup in there for me, you know, but they popped all this stuff off. All these gaskets up here, you know, there's no paint overspray on the edges. So when they did paint this car, it wasn't a cheap Mako repaint. I just think the prep work in it might not have been perfect. I think even they took this stuff off because there's no paint edge on it. I don't know. Back to the interior though, you can see here, it's in really nice shape. It shows as a 20,000 mile car would show. Even the dash pad, common thing on these cars. You usually see the dash pads warping and kind of peeling back. This one is not. The leather is in nice shape, nice and soft. You know, it's got a nice plushness to it. I do like driving this car. It's just, I don't know what it was about this car. I haven't had one that I really drove and enjoyed. That silver one I had for such a short period of time. I was told it wasn't able to be driven in bad weather, so I really didn't drive it much. This one I was able to drive. Carpeting is all in really nice shape. Down here, I did notice, it looks like at one point there was a little bit of a cigarette burn there. Although I don't smell any traces of cigarette smell. I don't know if the first owner did that or what happened there. But the inside of this car, Actually smells quite nice, like a Cadillac of this era. I've had many with low mileage, and this reflects that. The real cool thing with these seats, I think I pointed it out, as the power adjustable headrest and seatbelt. I think I pointed that out in the Silver Seville video. I don't know if I'm losing my sunlight here. It was beautiful out earlier. I can see all in this door jamb, nice and clean. All the gaskets, like I said, you know, they're not painted over or anything. It has a little, I don't know, trays in the back here. Rear heated seats. I'm not sure if they work. I never tested them. It's actually see if they heat up. All inside this jam, again, all these gaskets have zero overspray anywhere on them. Again, the leather's in pretty nice shape. Little impression of something there in the middle. Carpeting is in really nice shape. Two very minor stains that I could not get out. Nap pockets. It does have the rear blower and climate control. This guy folds down. Center armrest. And then these guys are adjustable as well and flop down. But very nice in the back. Headliner is in really nice shape. All the doors, everything closes right. You know, the gaps are all perfect on the trunk. You know, so I really don't think this car was wrecked. I think it was some type of very comprehensive claim that, again, vandalism, I don't know. I'm really not sure. I don't know what would cause an entire car to be painted except for the roof, other than something like that. So the jams here, a little dusty for me driving it down the road, but again, you know, no tape or paint lines. Upholstery is in really nice shape. Carpeting is nice and clean. Again, it's got these little lids here. Rear heated seats. All you gotta do is simply lift this up. It's kind of cool. See, the dash pad is in really nice shape. No cracks or splits or peeling back. All the wood is in nice shape, not cracked or damaged from the sun. You can see it in the middle there just as well. Again, nice soft leather upholstery. All the fabric here is in nice shape, not worn or beat up. Center console, we'll open that in a minute. It does have an auxiliary outlet down there. There's a little piece of foam or something from the vents. We do have the air conditioning on, works perfect. Let's take a look. Glove box here, let's see what we got. Original Cadillac owner's manual, notepad, and then the warranty information guide. A little storage tray there. Carpet. Oh, look at, now I'm making a mess. Ew. That's that foam stuff that I just picked up. I'll have to wipe that off when I get back to the shop. But you can see here, aside from that booger that I just put on the side of the seat, how nice it really is. And I'm going to pop the hood, pop the trunk, take it for a spin back to the shop, which is going to be enjoyable. Hopefully before it rains out here, and I'll show you what it looks like underneath. Alright, so I unfortunately only have one key and one remote for this car. It's the #1 recall key, but we're going to start it up here. I love how the clusters on these light up. 20,566 miles, and you can see 737.5. That's the actual miles that I put on the car when I drove the car. So we're going to pop the trunk. Down here is the hood. Let's take a look. All right, we'll come around to the back here and show you very nice sized trunk in these Sevilles here. You can see I I have all 4 factory floor mats. It does have like a neat little storage compartment over there. Trunk cargo net, spare tire included under the cover, and it does have the pass-through here, which is what this guy is for when the center armrest is down. All inside the trunk jam is even nice and clean. But you can see spots here where there's a little bit of clear. They must have had this rear bumper off when they painted it, and in the jam there, it's just starting to peel. The car is running right now. Very, very quiet. Northstar. Like I said, I put 730 miles on it. I can't stress it enough. It was a pleasure to drive this car. When I acquired it, we did a new fuel pump sending unit assembly, cleaned the tank, flushed the coolant out of the car, replaced the thermostat, belt tensioner, you can't see it down there, belt on that just to make sure that the thermostat was in good working order, put new Prestone coolant in it, and then I drove it with a Prestone coolant system cleaner. That's when I put all the miles on the car. And then when I was just serviced the car just a few days ago, we flushed all the coolant back out of it with the cleaner out of it, put new fresh coolant in the car, did a full synthetic oil change to the car. All 4 tires were replaced, rear air shocks were replaced. The car was made to be a turnkey car, just like all my other cars. It's just this one has the cosmetic downfall that it has. But very clean under here. Minor surface rust on a few of the brackets and stuff like that. But even like these gaskets here, you can see a little bit actually right there. So forgive me for that one. But it's a whisper quiet, very powerful 32 valve Northstar. Let's take it back to the shop. All right, inside this Seville, and it does have the power tilt and telescoping steering wheel. Beautiful leather wrapped wheel. You can hear the rear air level ride just kicked on for a second there because my fat ass just got into it. Automatic headlights, fog lights, interior lights, all the climate control. All these lights, the nice thing about this low mileage car is all the backlighting on all the knobs and everything works. Because I've driven the thing so much, I know. And it does have this cool little feature where you can kind of change the display mode. You want it just to be digital. You want it to be digital and analog. And it pops up on the top there. And like all these Cadillacs, you can go through here and go through all the programming instructions and stuff like that. Get your outside temperature. Bose Soundworks, don't want to leave that on too long for copyright. Actually, Bose, I don't know if this is Bose. Usually it has a little insignia here. This might not be Bose. Dual climate control. It's got the wood shifter, 2 front heated seats. I will say both sides do not work. That's actually the one thing that I do know that doesn't work in this car. I did try to do some research. It's very common for the heating element to break in these seats, the bottoms. And unfortunately, the lights light up, but nobody's home. They don't heat up. All the pillars are in nice shape. Windshield, it does have the rain sense wiper, which works well. Actually, it might start working soon because it looks like it's going to rain here. So let's get this car back to the shop. I absolutely love driving this car. I said in the beginning of the video how difficult it is. I know that looks like it's going crazy, but it's not in real life. Just the way the camera's picking it up. I said it's hard for me to put miles on a car. And where that would kind of make people scratch their head, just think of how many cars that I have. I have my own daily driver. I have a Cadillac Escalade, the trusty Rusty. I have my diesel shop truck. I have my Ford F-150 shop truck, which might be coming up for sale, by the way. I have those cars. I have my Cadillac, my Lincolns, all the stuff that comes through my shop that I sell. I drive them to get a feel for them. And unfortunately, I don't live very far from my shop. I only live like 15 minutes from the shop. So for me to accumulate 740 miles was difficult. The other problem that I had was I didn't want to go too deep into this car and put new tires on it before I knew that the car was going to be sound after, sitting that long. I didn't really know the history of the car, why it had been parked, if there was an issue with the car, aside from, just the owner passing away. So the tires on it were Michelin's from 2008, probably brand new at the time, and they were so severely flat spotted that I couldn't even take it on the highway. So it was 738 miles, mostly city. A few times I bared through it and put it on the highway. But since last week when I put the tires on the car, I have taken it on the highway, and it drives so smooth and so straight. It's really an absolute pleasure to drive. I wish I put the tires on sooner because it would have been a lot more enjoyable throughout that time. But it's very quiet. It's nice in the cabin here. It's clean. It's presentable. It's a 20,000 mile car, no questions asked. The leather wrap steering wheel is in beautiful shape. You can feel the pulp of the leather. You can feel the stitching. Everything is right about the inside of this car. Unfortunately, it just lived, and it must have been, some type of exterior damage done at some point. But like I said a few times, and I know I'm probably beating the dead horse here, it's a good car for someone to get in and drive and enjoy. If they had one of these and they just want to get in another one with low mileage, it's been fully serviced. And like I said, I have had this on the lift. I'm going to include that clip right after this. Bone dry, no rust underneath the car. It's actually quite impressive how nice and clean this is. No oil leaks, not even any seepage from anything underneath the car. And I'm going to show you that right after this. So let me end it here. Thanks everybody for watching. 2002 Cadillac Seville SLS, 20,000 miles. Beautiful, fully serviced car, Ming Blue, ready to go, turnkey. Price of the car is going to be $79.95. It's priced to move. Any questions, you can let me know. My number is 978-930-1004. I can help you with shipping. I can set all that up for you. I get the car delivered. I don't want to...